Hello everyone, great to be here in Amsterdam, and I am not going to stand here for the next 20 minutes and bore you with more different hybrid data collection methods and different methodologies and hybrid approaches and analytical processes. I'm going to take you on a journey through the world of data and how it flows like oil and how exciting it can be if we actually tap it. Okay, so I'm going to throw you some disruptive innovation examples and just something out of the box, which my book, Wake Up or Die, is based on. So, you know, unless you are the ruler of a petroleum-producing nation, the price of oil going up is really a good thing, right? It affects our prices, commodity prices go up, you know, everything obviously just changes. But yet there's this insatiable thirst and demand for oil. In North America alone, we consume 20 million barrels of oil a day. Okay. That is this unsellable thirst, the same way organizations today are wanting and are thirsty for data. The more, we want more, we want more. There's big data, there's mega data, there's, you know, so much, like every possible opportunity that we can actually look at. The biggest difference is that obviously, as you know, the supply of oil is decreasing, right? But what's happening? What's happening with data today? This is what's happening. The supply of data is increasing, okay? Every possible opportunity we have to tap into customer data, market data, environmental data, satellite data, you name it. We can find it, we can get it, we need to look at it, right? This unbelievable, insatiable thirst. But we need to tap it. Because if we don't, it can cause a huge amount of problems, okay? And I'll show you a few examples today. But this type of all this data that's coming in, if tapped correctly, really helps us to determine the predominant economic value today. Intelligence is the predominant economic value that people buy today. And let me step back a little bit in time and explain to you what I mean. So many, many, many years ago, before our time, we had something called commodities, and basically what commodities were, we extracted them out of the ground and we sold them on the open market. It was a great market offering and a great time to live. But what happened was the Industrial Revolution came along and people realized, I can take these commodities and I can make goods out of them and I can sell these goods and I can make more money. So they started to imply this intelligence and realized, you know, I can make more money by actually not having a commodity, but by offering a goods or service. And they made goods. But what happened over time was that goods became completely commoditized, okay, as they all are today. Everything's a commodity today. So what do we have to do? Okay. What we had to do is we had to customize a good. So we decided to customize a good. And when you customize a good, it becomes a service. And so we entered into the realm of the service-orientated organization. The predominant economic value in today's organization is all about service offering. Okay. But this became commoditized. Even long-distance telephone providers, all they do is fight on price, price, price. Became a commodity and just drove it down. So what do we have to do is we have to customize a service. And this is what was going on and on and on and on in terms of the predominant economic value. But where are we today? When you sell your brand, your organization, your research models, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Do you know what consumers want? Do you know what buyers want? They want you to customize a service. Does anyone have any idea what it looks like when you customize a service? When you customize a service, it becomes an experience. And that is the predominant economic value today. Consumers, brands, businesses today buy experiences. And what's so incredible about an experience, okay, is that every single one is customized and every single one is personalized and every single one is different, so it's really, really difficult to measure. So where's the next predominant economic value? I'm not 100% sure, but that's where we're living today. And that's what has to be measured on a continual basis today. We are living in the predominant economic value of experiences, and that's the holy grail. We have to use intelligence in order to dictate and understand the experiences that we are all as consumers consuming in a sense. And what does that actually mean? The word insights. This word has been thrown around like the word strategy, okay? And I'd love to actually just kind of define what is a true insight, okay? And I define this because, you know, this is where you can understand the key experience that a person is actually obtaining. And it's very, very simply a penetrating truth That's what an insight is. It's a penetrating truth that leads to an opportunity that was never heard of before. As simple as that. And anything else that you believe is an insight is not. Very difficult to get to. So that's the holy grail, and that's where we need to get to. We create 2.5 quintillion bytes of data a day, and 90% of that data has been created in the last 2 years alone. Can you imagine what 2020 will look like? It scares me. Love this diagram. This diagram actually, this image I should say, this picture, basically says it all. Does anyone recognize where that is? Any ideas? The Vatican, 100% correct, the Vatican, okay. 2005, St. Peter's Square in the Vatican, when Pope Benedict became Pope. Have a look at that image. And then 2013, 8 years later, Pope Francis. Look at the difference. That was only 8 years ago. What you're seeing, the sea of tablets and mobile devices, that is data being created. That time, that is only 8 years. Oversupply. You know, we have to be able to tap this. Analysis paralysis. So what do we have to do? We have to ensure that all this data coming in leads to the experience that we can actually design so that it's unique enough. We have to find insights in new and emerging types of data and content. That has to make your business more agile, and it has to answer questions that were previously considered beyond your reach. And if all this data that is coming forward is not able to do that, it is not a true insight, it is not true intelligence. I'm going to give you two stories that I love, rags to riches stories, and how they used intelligence to disrupt the marketplace. Okay, so great stories. So that is Eric Ryan and Adam Lowry, and they are the brainchild behind the brand Method. And if any of you know this brand, so they were college students living in their dormitory, and they were exposed to toxic chemicals, cleaning materials. And they got really ill the one day, and they thought, well, why don't we, just produce cleaning materials with non-toxic ingredients? Like, what a great idea, right? Let's do that. But there was some other idea behind this, they thought, and they decided to conduct some research and some intelligence. And they needed to find that nugget of information that will help them to market a new product to the predominant economic value of experience. Experience in cleaning material, like, give me a break, right? Like, seriously. Okay, so they did, though. They actually found an incredible insight through intelligence. And the insight said that imagine when you're having people at your home, think about it. Okay, you're having a dinner party, you're having people coming to your house, what happens, right? The first thing you do is you clean up, and you take all your cleaning materials and your toilet ducts and your Mr. Clean and all that, and you open the cupboard and you put it all away, right? You don't want anyone to see your cleaning material. But they thought, well, what if we produced a product that solved this problem, great insight, that solved this problem, that was beautiful that you could leave out, and at the same time was non-toxic. And so Method was born out of that. And the very first, they produced this product called Method, and they sold 4 cases of it to their small little town store in Burlington. And a year later, in 2001, I think it was, they got a designer that came in and designed beautiful bottles, and they were listed in 90 stores across the United States in Target. And in 2005, they were the fastest growing company on the Inc. 500, and then they sold for multi-billion dollars to some big corporation. But that is based on an experience, an insight that led them to actually understand the experience that people were having with cleaning material. Great idea. I'll give you another example. I call this the art of intelligent war. The David versus Goliath. The one great thing about data today is that it puts small companies on level playing fields, okay? Business intelligence solutions are no longer just about the big multinational organizations. Boutiques and small players have access to everything pretty much as well. So if you think about one industry where there are massive Goliaths, okay, and that's the publishing industry, okay? You try and break into the publishing industry. You've got Random House, Penguin, HarperCollins, Hachette, Macmillan, Simon & Schuster. Anyone want to go compete with these guys? But they thought they were really innovative, right? You know what? Penguin and Random House, we're going to merge and become Penguin Random House. Great innovation. Really breakthrough stuff. So let me tell you about a phenomenal man by the name of Adam Lau, and he was, I met Alan actually at an event, and I wrote about him in my book, because I thought what he's done is credible. This is a story of David and Goliath. This is a story of understanding and capturing data, turning that data into an insight, and using that intelligence to create an experience for a community, for consumers. And what Alan Lau did is Alan Lau created an online community for sharing and distributing stories for authors and for writers. And the company is called Wattpad. And you can have a look at it online, Wattpad. Wattpad is really, it is, you know, I say Alan Lau has invented the digital age of storytelling and sharing, okay? He has now raised Series B funding. I think one of the Yahoo original guys is a big investor. He created Whitespace, he occupied it, and he now holds it. Okay. In a Goliath industry which was almost impossible to enter, disruptive innovation took place. Incredible story. So what's the common thread between the Method guys and Alan Lau and Wattpad? Okay. The common thread was that they managed to take data, turn it into intelligence, act on the insight, and obviously break through and create and experience the predominant economic value, what everybody wants. The common theory is what I call the bolts theory. It's very simple, and once again, there's a feature, a whole chapter of it in my book. And I don't have time today, obviously, to talk to you about the entire bolts theory, but the bolts theory pretty much stands, you know, B stands for breakthrough, in terms of you need intelligence that is going to break through into the marketplace. O stands for overcoming fear, because how many of you here, whether you are client or supplier side, have got a great insight but are too afraid to act on it, too afraid it's not going to give you the return. So you have to be able to overcome the fear of it, take the lenses off, stop thinking traditionally, think outside the box, okay? Think big. And most importantly is the S in the bolts theory, which is carpe diem, seize the opportunity, don't sit and wait on it, okay? Intelligence is perishable. If you don't act on something within 24 hours, there's market changes, economic changes, environmental changes. 33 brands enter the market on a daily basis. You guys, we've got to act on things immediately as they happen. So seize it. Because disruptive innovation is something that the market wants, but they don't expect. It's as simple, that's all it is. So let me ask you this question to really get my point across. What was one of the most disruptive innovations in the last 30 years in the food industry? And I usually ask this question, and I usually afterwards say, if anyone gets this right, I'll give them $1,000 right now. But don't go look online. Okay, any ideas? Anyone? Food industry? Fast food? No? Good one? Microwave? You know, it's so funny. All the presentations I do and I ask this question, those are always the first two things that come up. Fast food and a microwave. It's actually not. I'd give you more chance, but I have to move on. Baby carrots. How simple can a disruptive innovation be? Baby carrots turned the vegetable supermarket industry on its head. They saw quadruple, double-digit growth in the vegetable category when baby carrots in the 1980s came out. You saw households consuming this beta-carotene vegetable 10 to 1. And all because of Mike Jurczyk, who was a farmer and was throwing out 400 tons of carrots a day. Okay, 400 tons of carrots a day because they weren't perfectly shaped and they were a little bit deformed. And he thought, I'm going to play around with this. And he took a bean cutter and he started to play around with it, and all of a sudden, the baby carrot was formed. And he patched it up nicely and he started to sell it. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Disruptive innovation. So, the bolts theory, very simple. Breakthrough, overcome fear, lenses off, think deep, and seize it. I give great real-life examples within my book. So, data is the new oil. We know that. It will determine our currency, but we have to tap into it, and we have to tap into it properly, and we have to absolutely bolt. We have to break through, overcome fear, take the lenses off, think big, and most importantly, seize the opportunity. This concept is really based on my book called Wake Up or Die, and It's for every single person in the market research industry. This talks about how intelligence has to be at the forefront of our industry. Not even a question. It's based on The Art of War by Sun Tzu. And Leonard Murphy even said, entertaining, enlightening, impactful, practical, failed to do this book justice. It's just that good. So if you want more information, you can read my book or come and talk to me afterwards. But hope you found it inspiring and insightful. Let's innovate. Thank you.